Billy Taylor Humanitarian Award goes to Novogratz. Now look at, you heard it, not often do people give $1 million. And no, I mean, look at it. I mean, he looks like a jazz musician, doesn't he? I mean, looks like he can go ahead, well, he grab one of these instruments right here. All right, baby. But look here, you read about him in the Wall Street Journal. He gave it from his heart. And often it's hard and difficult times for people to give generously. And he gave generously, and there are many musicians who can't do it anymore. And those who are about to be in a position when they can no longer do it anymore. Those are the ones we're talking about. And Mike was there for them. Thank you very much, Mike, the Jazz Foundation of America. Thank you, thank you. All right, brother.
I meet a lot of people, and a lot of people give, and it's very rare that you have someone in this station in life, like what we found with Agnes. You have someone in a certain station in life that genuinely cares and does some good with the money they have, even when they have a lot of money. This is an amazing guy. I love him with my heart. He's become my brother, his family, his wife Suki. Suki, thank you. And all the kids, I love your children. And I love all the people that work with you and all your friends who gave tonight. Thank you so much. Mike Novogratz.
It's not often that a middle-class kid from Northern Virginia gets to be on the stage of the Apollo, so I'm going to just kind of enjoy it. Danny, thank you. Wendy, thank you. The Board of the Jazz Foundation and all of you. It's with great humility, and I'm rarely humble, that I accept this award. You know, Billy Taylor, I'm terrible with names, I'm terrible with dates and figures, and I knew Billy Taylor was kind of a giant in jazz, but I didn't really know his story, and so today I went online, the beauty of Google, and I Googled Billy Taylor, and I came across his memorial service, which happened at Riverside Church just this January. And when you watch the Billy Taylor funeral, you'll realize that not only was he a giant in jazz, but he was a giant in life. He lived a life of service. He gave to his fellow musicians. He gave his heart and soul to his audience. He gave to his friends and family. He gave as an educator, and he gave as a lover of jazz. By all accounts, he was debonair and charming and had a huge heart and a positive energy. And so I watched that and I was like, wow, if only all of us would have a funeral or a memorial service like Billy Taylor. And so I started thinking I'd accept this award with humility, and instead I accept it with great aspiration to live up to just a little bit of Billy Taylor. I see my mom down there laughing, and she's thinking, well, Billy Taylor was a great musician, and you played the cello in 3rd grade, and geez, you're going to have to work awfully hard to come close to being Billy Taylor. But in the rest of him, we all should try. Listen, I want to thank my family, my wife, my parents, my brothers and sisters that are here, my cousins. I want to thank my friends. I want to thank Wall Street, who showed up and dedicated their time and money and are helping. I want to thank the old donors of the Jazz Foundation who have been here for 10 years, the board. I want to thank the new friends of the Jazz Foundation. This group does amazing work. I also specifically want to thank my Aunt Nancy, who's in the front row, and her 5 kids, who came all the way from Pennsylvania. I've got a bunch of cousins here. It was my Uncle Ed, Aunt Nancy's husband, who introduced me to jazz, introduced me to music, introduced me to the idea of throwing great events and big parties and the joy music can bring to you. He was a son of an immigrant that grew up in Northampton, Pennsylvania, a small little cement town, probably 2 hours from here. It was an all-white town, not a whole lot of blacks in Northampton. But somehow, you know, he understood the universality of music, and he found himself in Harlem and in Detroit and loved jazz. To me, he was larger than life, and he was the big spirit and kind of inspired me into throwing parties and understanding the universality of the spirit that you saw on stage tonight. And so about 4 years ago, I now throw a lot of big parties. We had a party at my house, and the Neville brothers were playing on stage. Aaron Neville came out and he sang Amazing Grace, and the sun was coming down, and everyone there knew that God was there, that grace was shining on us all. And it was just this wonderful moment. And then my uncle took the stage. He was 76 or 77, with his accordion, and the Nevilles were a little bit nervous. They're like, the old guy coming on stage, we're pros. And after a while, he starts playing. 10 seconds into it, you could see first Art and then Aaron, their faces light up with a big smile. And they start jamming, and for about 15 minutes, they played 2 songs, and my uncle was in heaven, and the Nevilles were having fun, and everyone watching knew something magical was happening. And slowly but surely, the Nevilles, one by one, walked off the stage, and they left my uncle, the patriarch of this giant clan called the Novogratzes, our family, standing on stage with his accordion, and all those that loved him out front watching him. And there were tears in people's eyes, and somehow we knew this was his last concert, his last lecture, his last hurrah. I don't tell you this story to make my Aunt Nancy cry. I don't. I tell you because that's what music is. Music is the accents of our life. It is the joy that gets accentuated. It's the pain and sorrow that gets mollified and soothed. Music makes our life rich. And these guys here, behind me on stage, and all the ones you've seen before, and the ones you'll see for the rest of the life, they provide the music. They write it. They play it. They give their heart and soul. They throw it out there and give everything they've got. Listen, I'm a free markets guy. I'm a trader. I make lots of money buying and selling things. But I know at my core that markets don't always work. And this is one of those cases where markets don't always work. These guys give so much, and it makes the Jazz Foundation's mission so simple. It's the reason I love this charity, this foundation, because it's a very simple proposition. They have given their life and soul to entertain us, to soothe us, to be with us, and all I'm asking, and Wendy is asking, and Danny is asking, is you give a little back. This is karmic payback. It really is. It is. The more you give, the more you get. And so, it's a simple foundation. We have a simple mission. We do wonderful work. I say we. I like to be we. I'm we. But let me give you one last thought, and then I will get off the stage because I'm sure the producer's getting nervous. You know, the guys that give money, and listen, all of you are appreciated. We need money to do the work. Often the guys that give money get lots of credit. The guys that really deserve the credit, first and foremost, are Wendy and all the staff. Let me tell you, Wendy does not have an easy clientele. If any of you guys have ever met Sweet Georgia Brown, where's Sweet Georgia? I love Sweet Georgia. We've got divas and badasses and, you know, cool cats. I mean, the guys and women that have been part of the blues and jazz foundation, jazz legacy, they're proudful, difficult, ornery, fun, colorful people. And so when they need help, it's not easy. And what Wendy does, and does so brilliantly and beautifully, is just show up with a giant heart and a ton of love. And her and her staff make this such a seamless process by showering love into it. And so I want to thank you. I'm inspired. I I love the Johnstown Nation. I hope you guys all give. Thank you. Enjoy the night.